This time I'll call the July meeting of the Haywood County Board of Education to order. This time I'd like to ask Mr. Jimmy Rogers if he would lead us in our board prayer, and immediately following that we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Board members, please rise.
Let us pray. Kind, gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so very much for the opportunities you give us. We thank you, Lord, that you give us the abilities to come here and make these decisions, Lord, as it won't be long again, we'll start a whole new year of school. We thank you for the preparations that are being made. We thank you for the staff that have worked so diligently, even throughout the summer, to help make sure that these children will be the best prepared that they can be to be leading in our future. Lord, we thank you for our staff. We thank you for these students, these communities. We thank you for Haywood County. We always want to keep Haywood County on top, Lord, and it's through your guidance and direction that we can do that. And we pray that you guide and direct this board, that these decisions we make be the best decisions to help keep Haywood County schools to be the greatest. Guide and direct us in all that we do, and we will give you the praise and the glory for it all. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We have a whole lot of announcements tonight. We got, oh wait a minute, there's just one. Just kidding. Our next regular board meeting will be here at the Education Center on August the 5th at 7 p.m. Does anyone else have any other announcements that need to be made? Tusco's drawdown, and I owe somebody some money.
August 3rd.
You go send a collector out? Okay, very good.
August 3rd.
Is it August the 3rd? Okay.
And I've got many more of the mega half and half tickets too for sale.
Half and half tickets. No sales are going well. That's what I hear. Any other announcements? All right. On agenda adjustments, do we need to add any items?
I think you have some from building.
Building and grounds. Building and grounds. 2 items from building and grounds. We'll do them right after the Finance Committee reports. Between 19 and 20, we'll do building and grounds. Has some information that they need to have some action done. Building and grounds. Anything else need to be talked about?
We don't have any agendas. Just a monthly report.
Now, without objection, we'll add the 2 items from the building. Was it 2 items? Okay. Any objection? Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion. We approve the agenda as presented. Is that when we do this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Okay. Mr. Rogers has made a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Francis. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So the agenda has been approved. All right, next we have Mr. Haney.
Chairman Francis, board members, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, co-workers and family and friends, it's always an honor to talk about our schools and how good they're doing, but it's a big honor to talk about Mr. Justice and his FFA program at Pisgah High School. He's in his 7th year at Pisgah High School, and he has 3 points he's going to make tonight where they've performed really well. Floriculture, building our North Carolina Communities Award, state degrees, and the one thing he won't mention is they're actually a national chapter award, and they've earned gold at this award, which means they're in the top 25 in the state and they're going to a national competition. So there's not many places that get to do that. So right here in our mountains, and you talked about we want to, I think Jimmy Rogers said we want to beat everybody. He didn't say it that way, but that's what I got out of it. But we're doing a good job, even in our agriculture, in our CTE classes, in our classrooms. So Mr. Justice, if you'll come on with it.
All right, so the three things I'm going to talk about is the North Carolina Floriculture Competition, the Building Our North Carolina Communities Award, and some state degree recipients. In order for our students to compete at the state level, they had to first compete at the regional level, be in the top three. This is our second year in a row placing in the top 5 schools in our state with this competition. Our students have to be able to identify 200 plant specimens, be able to compete in floral design techniques, as well as answer industry questions. So this year's team was Jessica Cairns. She is not able to attend tonight. Kaylee Smith, who is out of the state currently. Liberty Kellerson. Caitlin Moore. And Building Our North Carolina Communities Award, our students have to go in before a panel of judges and do a presentation on a community service project that they have done locally. The purpose of this is to build interest within North Carolina and also build a relationship within our community. Our students did a presentation on the special needs show at the Haywood County Fair, where our students prepare, clip, groom, trim all the lambs for the special needs show. Our students are the handlers. They help those students with special needs, and it's not just students. It's anyone with a special needs. Our oldest person, I think, is 56. Our youngest person participating is around 8. And our students do a really good job preparing those animals, and they went in and did the presentation. So the students who competed in Building North Carolina Communities Award was Kaylee Smith, Abby Wood, and Jaden Denting. And the last thing is we had 3 students who received their state FFA degrees. In order to get an FFA state degree, they have to have invested $1,000 or more into a project or have worked for someone that equaled 300 plus hours. This could be paid or unpaid hours. Our students this year was Caitlin Moore, Taylor Crow, and Travis Messer, who wasn't able to attend. Thank you.
Every once in a while.
I think I'm next on the agenda, and Chairman Francis has given me the nod. I don't do anything without the nod. So we have 2 special recognitions tonight, but I'm going to call Tuscola's coach up, Coach Coaches. If you could come up and introduce your special athletes.
Thank you. We started out this year with kind of a depleted talent pool, and quite frankly, the rest of the league wasn't considering Tuscola as being a contender this year. But through the excellence of the 2 golfers that I'm going to talk about this evening, they were the proving factor of basically stating that Tuscola was not to be denied this year, even though everybody thought that that would be the case. Besides being excellent golfers, the two golfers here are displayed not only great team presence, but also leadership, and have now become teachers of the game as well. Those were some of the goals that we set forth at the beginning of the season, and ultimately the final goal was to become fine young men as well. So they checked all the boxes by the time the season was done. The two that received the awards for all conference had to obviously score well, and both of them were within the top 5 of all scoring, so it was not just squeaking in. They actually put in hard work and put together a very, very good season. So I'd like to introduce Walker Balance. And our other golfer, Justin Head, he actually works at a golf course, so he couldn't come out today, which that's all right. He's a senior this upcoming year, so the more time that he can spend on a golf course, the better off we will be this year. So just like to thank both Walker and Justin for making my first year as a head coach of Tuscola Golf not only a lot easier, but very memorable. So thank you.
Congratulations to all the folks that have earned recognition here tonight, and we wish them well and much continued success. Next we have Dr. Putnam again.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, what's being passed around to you is random student drug testing report as required by our policy. I wanted you to see the results of our random drug testing. As you can see, it's broken down by school. We did a first round of drug testing October of 2018 at a cost of $1,880 with 6.45% testing positive. I'll leave high schools which one out, just give you those percentages. Y'all can take a look at those. And 15.63% testing positive at the second high school. We did a second drug test in November of 2018 for a cost of $2,046. Again, with the percentages, 66.67% testing positive at one of our high schools and 5.71% testing positive at another one of our high schools. Those numbers are inflated at times based on the sampling that we take, the actual size of the sampling. So nothing to be alarming. I will tell you that our Wolf Laboratories, who tests they conduct the lab work for many of the high schools in this area, and we are either under or at the normal average with other high schools in the surrounding area. We did a third drug test March 2019 at a cost of $1,841, with one of our high schools showing 6.67% positive. And then a final fourth test in May of 2019 at a cost of $1,614, with 50% testing positive at one of our high schools and 8% at another. Total for 2018-19 school year, the total cost was $7,381. The overall number of positives on average was 6.2% amongst all high schools. We had 16 positive results. The number of students tested, 258. So 16 of 258 for an overall percentage of 6.2%. Is there any questions about our random drug testing of students?
Anyone have any questions?
Again, the criteria for a student being tested is athletics, and what are the other criteria for them to be in the pool to
Athletics and a parking pass.
parking pass?
And parent opt-in.
Correct. Parents can opt in.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Dr. Putnam, for the report.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Mrs. Francis with her SHAT.
Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam. I'm here tonight to do our annual SHAT presentation. Actually, I'm just going to introduce it and introduce our co-chairs, and they're going to do the presentation. But do we have a clicker? Do we have a clicker?
Quick.
That's okay. I can click.
It's not responding.
Well, we'll just go on without a PowerPoint presentation. How's that sound? Our School Health Advisory Council, which is also known as SHAC, is something that is required through the 2004 Child Nutrition Reauthorization from USDA. It is required that school districts participating in the National School Meals Program establish a local school wellness policy by the year 2006, so it's been around for 13 years. This was reinforced and enforced and expanded in the Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act of 2010, and this is addressed in our school board policy 6140. Chelsea Williams is our school nutrition supervisor and dietitian, and she and Brandy Stevenson are our co-chairs for the SHAT committee.
So to go into a little bit more about our SHAC requirements, we are required at a minimum to have a committee that consists of parents, students, school food authority representatives, PE teachers, school health professionals, school board members, school administrators, and also the general public. With this, we have a large list, you can see on our PowerPoint, of different community partners that we have to help fulfill some of these requirements of people that need to participate in our committee. And following that, SHAT actually follows a whole health model, and so this is to incorporate the whole community, the whole child, and also the whole school. So with this, there's a diagram showing the different components of that. And of those, at a minimum, we are required to provide in our wellness policy contents for the nutrition promotion, nutrition education, physical activity, and other school-based activities that could help promote student wellness. With these content that we're focusing on, we have to make sure to monitor, assess, and evaluate each of the policies, and then to provide a public update on those policies. So every 3 years, an assessment is completed, and so our last assessment was completed in 2016. And what we learned from this assessment in 2016 is that we want to focus on spreading the word a little bit more to get more committee members, and so to make sure that faculty and also parents are aware of the SHAC and our plan to move forward in our priorities. We also learned that the principals would like to have some more resources on training and specifically on mental health. And to be more specific with that, they like to have more information on dealing with multiple emotional and mental impairments, effective strategies for students with ADHD, working with students with mental health issues, bullying and suicide, and then how the mental health issues can impact our schools. So from that assessment in 2016, we'll conduct our next one this year in 2019, but our main priorities are going to be focusing on healthy eating and physical activity, and mental health and substance abuse. So real quick to touch base on the healthy eating and physical activity. Right now we have implemented the school nutrition program, so we have breakfast, lunch, after school snack, and also summer feeding. And then all of our 15 schools were actually awarded the Healthier US schools. And so what this means is that we have actually exceeded the USDA nutrition requirements and also the physical activity requirements that have been implemented. We also have under the North Carolina Cooperative Extension the Color Me Healthy for pre-K. We offer PE classes in recess, active routes to school, Girls on the Run, and then also Girls Empowerment. And Brandy here is going to discuss a little bit more about the mental health initiatives that we have.
For mental health, we've got our Bridges program at North Canton. We've got our Middle Academy at Waynesville Middle School, Community Learning Center, Central Haywood, our MOA with Meridian, threat assessments, the middle and high school drugs in our MIST, and DARE. The most exciting thing, and Chelsea, I told her she should be the one that talks about it, but she actually went to a conference, a SHAT conference, and while she was there, she was awarded a grant for $4,500.
All right.
So I think she should be able to talk about that. So we decided through SHAC to blend some funds between the EC program and the SHAC committee, and to look at behavior support services and look at the SHAC committee and look at these needs that we looked at that we've already talked about, and that was providing more training on mental health. And looking at the mental health needs in our community and within our students. So, oh, you found the slide, finally. The last one, that's great. So, we are going to use her $4,500 that we got through SHAC, combined with $2,500 that I got through Behavior Support Services, to provide mental health training through the ACEs study, which is Trauma-Informed Schools, Trauma-Informed Instruction, for this next year. So the grant that I got could provide books and materials and supplies. That's all it could provide. Her grant can provide money for trainings and professional development. So between the two, we'll be able to get that training completed. So that's the SHAC update. And that we were really excited because it really goes along with the district improvement plan and all the long range planning that we did with our strategic planning groups. Any questions about the SHAC update?
I think it's a very good program, and I like the collaboration between different departments using the funds to help better our students' abilities.
They both were limited in what they could
Right.
use them for, so using them together.
Shared
we're
with
able
our
to-
friend.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate y'all sharing with these departments. That's
Chelsea
great.
got more than me, so.
I'm just going to have to get on the move then, Brandy.
That's all right.
One of the things that our committee talks about when we get together is there's a lot of different meetings within our county where the same people show up and the same people talk about the same topics. And sometimes you almost feel like you're working against each other and not collaborating and getting together. So we have recently talked with the health department, and we are going to join the Healthy Haywood meetings that happen quarterly. And we'll just be part of their agenda because it's usually the same people that are at both meetings. So in a way, effort to streamline things and actually get more people to attend our meetings and their meetings. So I think it'll help us both. So we're excited about that.
Any questions or comments? Thank y'all very much for the work you're doing. Thank you. All right. Ms. Swan, did anyone sign up to speak to the board this evening? Thank you very much. Board members, you've had an opportunity to look at the minutes, both closed and open session from June 6th, June 10th, and June 24th. Ms. Barrett's made a motion that they be approved as presented. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have Mr. Haney back with us.
Thank you, Chairman Francis. Every year we have to renew Central Haywood High School's Alternative School Accountability Proposal. You've got a copy of that. If you'll look, it's 20% student persistence, 20% school performance, and 60% student growth. The one thing we look at that's different is the ACT. We don't think the ACT is a good measure of the students at Central Haywood High School because of the diversity of the students and the way they move in and out, and it being tested in the 11th grade. So our proposal is very similar to the one we've used for the past 3-4 years. So just want you to look that over, and Dr. Nolly, we want them to approve that. Am I correct? You don't mind if you'll approve that?
Mr. Chairman, at this time I'll make a motion that we approve the Central Haywood High School's alternative accountability proposal.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
From Mr. Rogers, second from Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any questions or comments on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Haney. Next, we have Ms. Marr.
Chairman Francis, board members, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam. I'm presenting tonight the Title I Part A plan for your approval. Just a little bit about the Title I plan and allotment for this school year. It's $1,923,526. You have before you the statement of assurances, and that in a nutshell is what we're required to do if we accept the money from the federal government. Some of the budget includes $1,742,576.44 for our K-5 Title I schools. This is divided out to the 8 elementary schools based on low income from free and reduced lunch, and that also includes carryover from last year for those schools. As you can see, most of the budget goes to our schools. $140,000 to blend with the North Carolina pre-K to support our 5 pre-K classrooms. $48,939 for instructional assistance at Broyhill Children's Home. This is a requirement, and most of that money is used for after-school tutoring for our students at Broyhill, as well as any supplies and materials they need. That all comes through us, though. It's Haywood County Schools. They also have $20,000 $857.83 in carryover funds that they'll use in addition to what they have been allotted this year. $50,000 to assist with homeless students. We pay 75% of our sorry, I had a mom. Our homeless liaison that works with our homeless students, so we pay 75% of that, her salary. $2,500 is required for foster student transportation to be set aside. So if we have students in foster care, we help provide transportation for that. $75,000 for professional development for our Title I schools. $19,235.26 for parent engagement activities in our Title I schools. $200,823.12 for administrative costs. That's Kim, myself, administrative assistant, indirect costs, supplies, materials, workman's comp, unemployment cost, insurance, retirement, those things. And there is always an opportunity for our private schools. We have 5 private schools in our county, and you'll see that on one of the sheets that I provided, and none of them chose to participate again this year. Do you have any questions about Title I?
As far as the carryover money, do they have to use that first the next year, so they
We
keep carrying it over year after year, or how does that work?
What happens is the carryover money will take us till this budget's approved. So this budget's due August, but middle of August, so it may not be approved, and the money may not drop until like November.
Okay.
So this money takes us from July to November to pay the salaries, to pay for their Title I staff that they start in August.
Okay.
That's what that carryover money does.
Okay.
Good question. Anybody else have any questions?
This time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the 1920 Title I Part A plan as presented.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Rogers. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Any question or discussion on the motion? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you so
Thank you, Ms.
much.
Moore. We'll see you in a few minutes.
I'll see you.
Mr. Hines. Now, Title II plan, and then we'll get back to the Title III plan.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, item number 15 up for your consideration and approval is the Title II plan submitted to the federal, state, and federal government for Title II money. In the past, that has ranged around $300,000. This year, we will get $247,000. They cut it a good bit last year as well. We have about $30,000 in carryover from this current school year, and as Glenda explained, we would use that in much the same manner for Title II until our money drops for this coming school year. Title II, 100% of this money is used to support teachers, principals, and other school employees to maintain certifications, to gain licenses, to provide support in staff development. The main portion of this money, about $160,000 of it, is spent in the beginning teacher support program. And that is to pay mentors at the school level to mentor our beginning teachers. We also pay central office level beginning teacher coaches who help coordinate training and coordinate the mentors at the school level. And that takes the biggest portion of the money. The training for induction of beginning teachers at the beginning of the year, we do a 4-day training and then a 1-day orientation. The 4-day training is mainly in curriculum and instruction. And then 1 day of orientation is mainly in policies, procedures, and so forth. So some of the money goes toward that. We also pay for beginning teachers to observe other teachers, master teachers, throughout the year. We pay for substitutes for them to do that. We also support reading programs, math programs, and STEM training. And that's all training in those areas. It's not something that HR does, it's something that those grade level supervisors do, but we pay for it with Title II money and staff development. So this is mainly, this Title II grant is mainly support for professional development and training.
Okay.
Any questions, sir?
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Hines? This time we entertain a motion we approve the Title II plan as presented.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Mr. Burnett's made the motion.
I'll
Second, Mr. Henson. Any question or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Now we're back to Ms. Moore.
So, for board members again, for Title III, Lisa wanted you to know that that serves the EL population for Haywood County Schools. We serve about 179 students with direct services and approximately 50 students who have recently placed out of the service. 97% of the EL population is Hispanic, and most of the money that's awarded for Title III goes for salaries to put our EL teachers in the schools. For migrant, serve approximately 50 students who are in the program, and they serve from birth to age 21, and those who didn't graduate up to age 21. And she also puts this in CCIP along with Title I, II, III, and IV.
Okay. Is there any questions from Mrs. Moore?
Do we know how much the money, the grant is for Title III by chance? Or is it?
She did not.
She did not provide that to us. Let me get that for you.
That'd be fine. Any other questions, comments before? This time
I
we
make a motion that we approve the Title III application.
Okay, Mr. Kirkpatrick's made a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Barrett. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Moore. I think you're back up again.
I am. One more. This is my Title IV Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant. I did a little PowerPoint. This is fairly new grant. This year we were allotted $142,574. It has to go in 3 areas: well-rounded education, safe and healthy students, and effective use of technology. So those are the 3 areas that we must spend in, and we have to spend at least 20% in each area. So for well-rounded, we are partnering with our Science House, North Carolina Science House, to do a STEM camp, and we are hoping to provide, we are meeting actually this month to start planning that for the summer, because it is a big undertaking. We want to do this for 3rd through 5th grade and 6th through 8th, so it takes a lot of hands and a lot of planning to do this, but we're starting that planning. Mr. Haney's helping me with that, and we're meeting with her this next month to start that planning for the following summer. And then we're also supporting our students with college and career counseling. And then for our safe and healthy students, we are working to decrease our exclusionary discipline for our in and out of school suspension, bullying in our high schools, and threat assessments. So we have allotted $112,574 to go for our well-rounded and safe and healthy together, to provide 2 QPs, quality professionals, for our high schools. Last year we got to start that at our high schools. We started that about November, December, and it has really helped at our high schools with the threat assessments, with bullying, with in and out of school suspension. Our 2 high school principals have been very pleased with the help that has provided them. So we will do that again this coming school year. And then with our effective use of technology, all of that is used to enhance learning opportunities for our students, the teacher skills in using technology, and increase student use of technology. And we are putting $30,000 in that area to provide technology training for our K through 13 teachers. Do you have any questions about Title IV?
Any questions, comments on Title IV?
I make a motion that we approve 2019-2020 Title IV SSAE.
Okay. We have a motion from Mr. Kirkpatrick. Do I hear a second? Second, Mr. Jimmy Rogers. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next we have Dr. Putnam with some first-time readings of some policies.
Getting the look. That means do not read them word for word. For first read, you have 7100 before you. It adds a new Section D to address criminal history checks of child care providers and adds internal cross-references to that section. This is a change brought about beginning October 1, 2019. All child care providers must pass a fingerprint criminal history check and receive a qualification letter issued by the Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Child Development and Early Education prior to employment and every 3 years thereafter. So this is a change in the law.
Okay.
A little bit of additional expenses to our system too, but that's
absolutely
a lot of safety involved there too for protection of our kids.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The second policy for first read is 7940, classified personnel, suspension and dismissal. The changes to this policy clarifies the meaning of classified positions and at-will employees. It also clarifies that such employees cannot be dismissed or suspended for any reason that is discriminatory or unlawful. It's a change in wording from arbitrary and capricious to unlawful and discriminatory. And then the third and final policy is 7130, licensure. It updates terminology in Section A. State Board of Education Policy Eval 034. And essentially, basically, they're bringing things back in line with the State Board of Education policy in the beginning teacher support program handbook. Any questions for me about those 3 policies for first read?
Any questions, comments? As per board policy, these policies will be tabled until our next regular board meeting so we can have public input on these policies before we've actually voted.
Sir.
So they'll be tabled.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next we have Mr. Clark.
We would review the monthly financial reports and the finance committee. Everything looks good. Bring a motion to approve.
Okay. We have a motion from Mr. Clark to approve the regular monthly financial reports. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Jim Francis. Any questions or comments on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That's all from them, and then we got building and grounds.
Mr. Chairman, we have 2 motions. The first one is Pisgah has asked to declare a 1987 Kent band trailer. It's a trailer they use for the band. They're wanting to declare that surplus. have it sold on the Haywood County school bid site, and then all the money will be returned to Tuscola to Pisgah's band.
Easy,
Easy.
Money will go back to Pisgah's band. That's a motion from Building and Ground.
Okay.
I second that.
We have a motion from Dr. Rogers and a second from Mr. Kirkpatrick to declare the Pisgah Band trailer as surplus, and then we're going to give the money back to the Pisgah Band. Any questions or comment on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And you had another item, I believe.
The second one is to replace, we discussed this in great detail at our work session, but it's to replace and upgrade the intercom systems at Tuscola, Pisgah, and Waynesville. It comes at a cost of $180,000. That money will come from unspent money that we received in ADM years ago and through a match, and also from sales tax.
Okay.
That'll be the motion.
We have a motion from Dr. Rogers in Building and Grounds.
Second.
We have a second, Mr. Rogers, Jimmy Rogers. Any questions or comments on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Anything else, Mr.
No, sir. Thank you.
Rogers? Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda, we have our personnel from Dr. Nolte.
Mr. Francis, members of the board, staff, and guests, just wanted to give you the feedback on Title III and Migrant together. Title III right now we have just under $900, $855. Migrant is $56,587. You'll remember we added half a teacher locally. Those numbers are pretty small. That's from the report. I believe we pulled that from the right place, and I'll make sure that we have something posted for you in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Nolte.
Again, board, staff, and guests, the personnel that we discussed earlier in closed session, that you all discussed with us in closed session, for your information, we have 15 separation from employment, 21 employee status changes, 1 leave of absence. And then for your approval, 22 employments, 21 status changes, 2 leave of absence, 1 contracted service, 6 employee coaches, 3 non-employee coaches, and 1 volunteer coaching service.
At this time, we entertain a motion to be approved as presented.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Henson's made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Barrett. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Also, at this time, I would like to bring before you a recommendation requesting your approval for Chase Wells to be obtained to process foreclosures at $175 an hour, plus the fees, associated fees with those foreclosures.
Okay. Ms. Barrett has made a motion to approve as presented. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Francis. Any questions or discussion on the motion on the floor? There being none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you, board. At this time, I would like to call up Principal Clint Connor from Pisgah High School and ask him to introduce his new assistant principal.
Mr. Francis, members of the board, Dr. Putnam and Dr. Bill, thanks for having us. Mr. Rogers, I'd like to talk to you about surplus at Tuscola later on. Now, I'd like to introduce our new assistant principal at Pisgah High School, Miss Carly Wells. Miss Carly Wells
is a graduate of the Haywood County School System. She was a graduate from Pisgah High School. She went on to Appalachian State University and got her elementary education degree. And then over the last 2 years, she went back and got her MSA through Appalachian and is completing that as we speak. So I look forward to working with Carly. I'd like to thank Mr. Connor and Mr. Crook coming for her support. That means a lot to me and her, I'm assuming, as well. A couple things. I hired Carly at Clyde Elementary 6 years ago and had a chance to work with her for 4 years. Carly was an outstanding employee. A couple of the things that sticks out to me is Miss Wells's car was one of the last ones in the parking lot almost every day. There was a lot of Sunday afternoons that she was there planning and preparing for her school week. I witnessed Carly Wells take over 500 students to Washington, D.C. to take them on a trip, and that's not easy. That takes a lot of preparation, a lot of agendas, and a lot of funding. I also watched Carly Wells care for kids. There was one time that she had a difficult kid in her classroom, and she went to that house and helped that family clean up, get net free, and come back to school for that education. And Carly does a lot of the little things very, very well. She's a great communicator, and it's very evident that she loves kids. I was on the golf course yesterday talking to a peer graduate of Carly's, and he said, Carly always did her homework, and I could count on that. So I look forward to working with her. The most important thing about Carly Wells is she's a Pisgah Bear, and we're excited, and I'm honored to have her working with us.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Nolte and Dr. Putnam, I would like to start by extending my thanks to you for giving me this opportunity. Dr. Nolte, as my former principal, when I first started my journey as a student here at Haywood County Schools, I would like to thank you for sparking my love of learning as a young child. To my Clyde administrative team, Mr. Burnett and Ms. Tiller, thank you for your time and effort in leading me through my internship process, growing me as a leader, and giving me the support and confidence to stand here today. I was first given the opportunity to pursue my dreams and come back to Haywood County Schools to teach for Mr. Connor, as he just said. I want to thank him for believing in me then and believing in me now. He encouraged me to go back to school and consider administrative roles in my future. I thank him for this continued support and guidance throughout my career. My family, from a young age, you gave me the courage to follow my dreams, the strength to have faith in myself and others, and through every phase of life, you've built me up with encouragement and support, and I cannot thank you enough. Lastly, I'd like to thank God for the continuous strength He gives me for blessing me with an abundance of people along my path who've loved, supported, and taught me so much. Years ago, I stood in front of my Pisgah High School graduating class, reminiscing on the great years that Haywood County Schools invested in us as we prepared to take on the world. Now, I get the opportunity to return back to a new generation of Pisgah students and help provide that same loving encouragement and support that was given to me. I could not be more thrilled to be a part of the Pisgah administrative team and the Pisgah Nation again, to have the chance to give back to the community and school that poured so much into me. Thank you.
Ms. Wells, congratulations, and I know you'll do fine. We've watched you grow from a young child. I've been on the board a long time, I'm telling on myself. But congratulations, and we knew you could do it, and we look forward to seeing great things coming out of the Pisgah Nation, as much as it hurts me to say that. But anyway, congratulations.
Mr. Francis, I would like to say I'm very happy to introduce both of these new assistant principals through their principals tonight. They were both part of our Aspiring Leadership Academy that we put together, and I think these two folks are very promising administratively, and that we have some others sort of in the tank there. And so I think our future in terms of having administrators available looks good, at least for the short term. At this time, I'd like to introduce Todd Barbie, the principal at Waynesville Middle School, and let him introduce another very good assistant principal.
Chairman Francis, board members, Dr. Nolte and Dr. Putnam, I appreciate y'all's time tonight. I would like to put another plug in for the Aspired Administrators Academy. Having been in the principal's role a long time, I've seen very lean years of APs, and this was not one of those. Haywood County is going to be strong, and it's because that program, I think, did a very good job in preparing. Mr. Rogers, who I'm getting ready to introduce to you, he came ready for everything I was going to ask him. He's going to hit the ground running. Mr. Baron Rogers is a Haywood County boy. He went through Waynesville Middle, Tuscola graduate, came back home to bring his talents back here. I hired him for a number of reasons. One, because he is going to increase the average size of the administrative team. Now that we lost Dr. Putnam, we're back up there now. But also, I hear he's a very good mandolin player, and I hope to get some free lessons from him. But no, honestly, when I sat down at the interview, he knew he can do the job. I'm very excited. He's going to take over our 8th grade, and is going to do a fantastic job. So, Baron Rogers, you'll come forward, please.
Chairman Francis, members of the board, Dr. Nolte, Dr. Putnam, I'd like to, first of all, thank everyone for this opportunity. I'm excited about it. It feels kind of weird. It's kind of like, I feel like I just won one of those awards on one of those TV shows where they give people something for singing bad country music. So when I start hearing that elevator music playing in the background, I know my time is done. I'll just sort of ease on out. I'd like to thank God and my family. You've probably heard them over there most of the time. Sometimes I feel like I've already been a principal a little bit because it seems like I've got enough kids at my house to make a school. I'd like to thank Jill Barker tremendously for her work with the Aspired Administrators Program. I'd like to thank, obviously, Mr. Barbie for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And you know, anytime you do this, you're taking a chance on somebody, and I'm really pleased that he chose to take a chance on me, and I'm looking forward to working with him, working at Waynesville Middle School. I'd like to thank Mr. Trantham at Tuscola High School, all my co-workers, fellow coaches, everybody at Tuscola High School. For whatever reason, good or bad, they've helped write the book that's my life so far. I've been there for 16 years, and it's going to be hard to leave. But I'm looking forward to this opportunity. Everybody has been, all the students that I've had over the past 16 years have helped make me what I am as an educator today, and I hope to put back into that and help a lot more students in the next 16 years. I thank y'all very much.
Congratulations, Mr. Rogers, and I know that you'll do excellent work at Waynesville Middle School and get folks prepared to be up at Tuscola. And you certainly know what it requires to be successful at Tuscola since you've been there a good while. So congratulations. We know you'll do well. Thank you so much. There being no further business to come before the board, meeting adjourned.